Hi there, it's Pete the Hipster King from the Hairy Game Lords, and this evening we have been playing this Ovation from Looking Glass Workshop. What did we think? Stay tuned to find out. So, in Ovation, you are going to take on the role of one of the a famous composer from history. I was a Franz Schubert, Sherbert even. Nice little bio about him on the back there, and I don't know if you can see this, but these, although this is obviously a prototype, these are dual layered boards. Really, really nice components in this as a prototype. Really, really good piece of work's gone into this. So you are going to be using your 3 key inspiration resources. There are lovely little wooden counterpieces. So you've got passion, we have sorrow, and we have joy, and they are going to be tracked on your keyboards, moving up and down. And you've also got your little composer meeple, who's going to be moving along the top of the board, selecting the action that you're going to take on your turn. On your turn, you're going to be seeking inspiration. That's just going to be moving the markers up. Maximum of 2 spaces. You can either move one inspiration 2 or 2 inspiration 1 space. You can seek your fortune. You can buy fortune cards using your inspiration, and they are going to slot in behind the various actions and give you bonus actions that you can take once you've selected that action. You can seek patronage. You are going to go and get rich patrons, tempting them in with your inspiration to come and support your cause. They might give you end game scoring points because they will like certain types of music more than others. And if you produce more of that type of music and you perform more of that music, you'll score more points at the end of the game. Or they might give you additional bonuses that are going to slot in behind your board when you're seeking fortune. And the final thing you can do is you can perform your music. Again, spending your inspiration, you're going to buy those performance cards, and they're going to give you certain scoring points, and will also enable you to unlock. You start with chamber music, then you can unlock concert music, larger pieces that are going to gain you more points. And at the end of the game, all your cards are going to be totted up because those cards have got different values on them, legacy points. But there are a couple of extras. There are Maestro cards on the bottom. They're like your classic end game. They're contracts that you can gain if you manage to fulfill specific goals that you're working towards. When there are only 2 of those left, i.e. when there's been a chance for everybody to have at least 1 in the game, that's the game over. And the other thing that we added in, this is an optional add-in, we put it straight in, was your Magnus Opus. And you start with 3 cards and you pick one, and this is a high scoring but more challenging piece of music to perform. So you're going to have to, on this one, you're going to get a whopping 16 points, but you're going to have to have performed 2 different types of music and then spend a hell of a lot of inspiration in order to be able to get that. So you're building the engine with your cards, you're moving your meeple around, and then every time you perform, you're going to get additional music notes, which allow you can spend those on your bonus actions. So that's kind of how the game plays. What did I think? I absolutely loved it. It was a really nice and simple, but there's enough thought space in there, but this is on the lighter end of medium, I'd say. You could play this with relatively new gamers. It got the feel of a gateway game, but there's enough going on that we still enjoyed it and found it challenging enough. But you've got the elements of you can work towards chaining some nice turns together. You can build a really nice engine. Dave went down the line of building a really nice engine. I went down the line of just my engine was a lot smaller, but worked towards completing
it's not about the
pieces
size.
of music.
Size doesn't matter.
But I went after completing those bits of music.
I had a massive engine.
Dave's massive engine won the day by a few extra points because he went after those. He went big on the legacy patrons who give you the points at the end of the game. And although he scored a few negatives, he had one card that won him a lot of points at the end, which kind of flipped him over.
Hello.
To the win. Really enjoyed it. Double thumbs up. Do check this out.
Ange the Bearded Lady. You know what I'm going to say. Artwork. Artwork in this game and throughout the game. You can see from the box art throughout the game is just really, really lovely. As Pete has already demonstrated, you've got your player board there, the dual layers, the components, as Pete has already said. Really, really nice. You've got the card art. So here's one of the legacy patrons. Just really, really nice artwork going on. Fantastic. Look at that. Brilliant. Even down to, if there's no people on there, look at that fantastic grand piano. Brilliant. What's also nice is the clarity on the cards. So it's really clear on what you're supposed to do. Those icons are really nice. What I really liked is that there was only 4 things, one of 4 things that you can choose to do on your go. So goes are considerably kind of quick. I mean, obviously we're playing Dave the Grey. But even with that, what I really, really liked was, one, is that James loves an engine builder and he wasn't here tonight. But 2, when James does an engine builder, he creates like these super chains that he goes back and forth and back and forth, and you may have seen it on other reviews that we've done. The rest of us Hairy Game Lords get a little bit bored, maybe fall asleep, whilst James is performing this super chain. Well, what's great about this engine builder is it stops you from doing super chains. So you have a whole load of, as Pete has said, you have a whole load of cards that you can purchase with your inspiration, and they sit in behind here, and then you can use those cards. But to use those cards, you have to use one of these. Again, beautiful little wooden crafted piece, the music note. You start off with one of those, you get an additional one every time you perform. But you don't actually get that many performances. I think maybe, how many did you guys? You had 4? Yeah, I had 4 by the end. But again, that's not loads. And when you've got to use those to go onto, you place them on the cards at the back to be able to use those, that kind of engine building thing. But the great thing is to stop people from going from one location to another and then back to the next location. You cannot go back to a location you've already been at, which would frustrate James, which we Hairy Game Lords like. But also, it means that it keeps everybody around the table focused and in play, not switching off at all, which I really, really like. So this game is a solid engine builder, beautiful components throughout, beautiful artwork, and one I really enjoyed, looking forward to playing again, and one that I think you guys will enjoy, and it's certainly worth checking out.
Hi, Dave the Grey. So, Ovation. I won. So, there's that. Thanks, James, for staying away from the engine builder night. Gave us all a bit of a chance. So, I really enjoyed it. It was, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
So, it is definitely lighter middleweight. But, sometimes you don't want to spend 3 hours trashing your brain with some sort of dry, heavy Euro. Sometimes you want a 45-minute engine builder that it's one of those games that I would just say is really nice. And I don't mean that in at all a disparaging way. Sometimes you want a game that you can just sit there for 45 minutes and just enjoy, rather than getting brain sweat from trying to figure out all the different combinations. So it looks great. It does tax the old grey cells just enough, I'd say. One of the things you've got is these Maestro cards. So this one, you need to perform 4 pieces of joyful music and you get 4 points. Thank you very much. That is where I think I swung it away from Pete. Ange also played the game, bless him. But
He didn't get any of those cards.
I got my last turn. I had a choice basically between not having quite enough for my magnum opus. I could have got it my next turn, but I had to run the risk of not really getting a lot of points now, and I was first player, so if either of these two triggered the end of the game, I wasn't going to get another turn, and that would have been 16 points down to Swanee. Or, and what I did was I went for a turn that gave me 2 of these and triggered the end of the game myself. So it was only 9 points rather than 16, but it meant that was it. And these guys couldn't get those ones either. So there is a little bit of thinking and tricksiness. The other thing that you need to do is all of your performances have a particular type of instrument or an inspiration attached to them. And these patrons, I also got loads of points for having loads of patrons, but these will give you, she gives you 2 extra points for any sort of fluty involved performances and -1 point if it's sad. So I had 5 of these, so I did end up, I had a couple of them that actually I think gave me a total of -1 point, but I had one of these that gave me 5 points for having 5 of them. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. And one of them gave me 8 points. And I think I beat Pete by
8 points.
8 points. So everyone's a winner. But no, looks fantastic. If you've watched any of our other reviews, you'll know that I am an absolute sucker for a lovely meeple as well. Look at that. Little musical notes, little flames for passion. Oh, and first turn marker, treble clef. You see, I know the lingo as well. But no, looks
That's why
fantastic.
you got the first player markers. No one else knew what it was.
Yeah, nobody else knew what it was. But no, looks absolutely fantastic. And if you just want one of those 45 minutes, just enough to get the old grey cells going, this is perfect. So check it out on Kickstarter. You will have a good time with Decomposing Composers. Just one for the Python fans there. But 2 thumbs up. Check it out. Tons of fun.